We're back live at Redburn Arena, side of the girls Class AA basketball championship game here in Normal. And once again, we'll see some familiar faces in Frank Matucci's Stevenson Patriots. Coach Matucci has his club back here to defend their AA title from a year ago, and they'll take on the Maroons of Elgin High School and the venerable coach Lee Turek. Should be a great affair. Let's give you an idea of where the two teams come from as we take a look at the map of Illinois. And certainly Elgin is in the Chicagoland area, in the far northwestern suburbs of Chicago. Stevenson, a far north suburb of Chicago in Lincolnshire. You can see their direction from central Illinois, Normal, where they are here tonight. Now, their roads to Normal were anything but that. Elgin had been talked about having a weak schedule during the regular season, but their battle through postseason was none too easy. We take a look at the road to Normal for Elgin. They had to get by a very difficult Hershey team. And then Buffalo Grove, which perennial has a great team, and Naperville North, a tremendous team, and they gave them a great game till the final moments. Now, for Stevenson, Coach Frank Matucci again had what seems like an easy one against Lake Zurich, but then his rivals from Libertyville in that sectional final battle, and then against ranked Loyola of Wilmette, gave them their stripes and their dues paid to get here for the championship game. Now we take a look at some of their star players, and earlier today, this is one of the ways in which Elgin was able to make their scores. Their great ball movement, being able to get the ball inside, and that is one thing that both of these two teams have in common, is how well they share the basketball. One thing, too, that should be pointed out, and you'll hear this from Mike and Kelly, they've got a couple of all-staters on each squad. Will they wash each other out and leave the duty to the rest of the roster? Well, that's what we're here to find out. Let's take a look at some other things that also happened earlier today. And this is an opportunity where Stevenson also has a chance. Now, they've got Catchings and Coleman. Everyone talks about them. Taja Catchings, though, has been the key to this team all year long. You double team her, and you're going to hurt yourself somewhere else. And here's Taja getting the ball inbounds, and this girl can go coast to coast, and if she doesn't, she's got a slew of players to go to. No one's going to challenge her to the hole, and Catchings makes a pair. In fact, Taja's sister, Tamika, is here in the audience. We'll talk about her later on, along with the former NBA player, her father, Harvey. Many other great stories are coming your way, and we'll have those as we preview the girls' Class AA basketball championship. It's defending champion Stevenson against Elgin High. We'll have that as we continue with our pregame coverage here, and we send it over to Kelly Hill and our play-by-play announcer, Mike the Voice Mitchell.
Well, a pleasant good evening, everyone. Where better to be than the warm and friendly confines of Redbird Arena on the campus of Illinois State University. Mike Mitchell along with Kelly Hill as we tune up for the hottest ticket in basketball, I know, in the state of Illinois. We've got the #1 and the #2 ranked team. They'll go at it here in just a few moments. But back in 1977, Kelly, just a stone's throw away at Horton Fieldhouse, that's where it all began in Class A basketball here in this great state of Illinois, and boy, what a good one that was, and it led to many great tournaments to follow. And in 20 years, oh baby, has girls basketball come a long way here in Illinois, and boy, do we have some talent.
Well, in 1977, there was just one class of competition. I can't think of a championship game where we've had this much talent on the court in one night. We've got 4 first-team All-Staters, Catchings and Colemans for the Stevenson Patriots, and then Schrock and Parker for the Elgin Maroons. It's going to be a terrific game. If all 4 of those players bring their talents to the floor tonight, it's going to be very exciting.
#1 against #2, 4 All-Staters, and a jam-packed telecast coming your way here from Redbird Arena. Hope you'll stay with us. We've saved you a seat alongside right here on the Illinois High School Association Basketball Network. Stay with us. One of your network sponsors is Farm Credit Services.
Back to Redbird Arena as we get set for the girls' Class AA basketball championship. It is Stevenson against Elgin. Should be a dandy of a game. Here are some facts about each school that you might want to know. First off, Elgin, only one loss this year. Their enrollment nearly 3,000. They are the Maroons, of course, the obvious color with cream, out of the very difficult Upstate 8 Conference. Their principal, Ron O'Neill, and of course, they're located in northern Illinois, really far northwest suburb of Chicago. Stevenson in the northern part of Illinois as well, up there in Lincolnshire, also only one loss. Also, nearly 3,000 students. Colors a little bit different, but also a very difficult conference that they played in at the North Suburban behind Dr. Timothy B. Berkey. Now, in the meantime, let's send it back over to head of court and Mike and Kelly to further preview the matchups with these two teams.
Thank you very much, Joe. Mike Mitchell along with Kelly Hill as we're tuning up to bring you the call and the play-by-play here tonight of two good ones, as we talked about just moments ago, number one against number two. And Kelly, how many times do you get to see the number one and number two ranked team in the state of Illinois, and also three ranked nationally? This Stevenson ball club been ranked third in the country by USA Today.
Well, third in the country now. They've been as high as one on occasion, but don't count Elgin out. They're ranked 7th in the Midwest. After this game, I'm sure they're going to be moving up. There's just tremendous talent here in this whole state tournament. 20 years is a long time coming, and boy, there's a lot of talent here.
Both teams with only one loss, so a tremendous amount on the line. Of course, Stevenson, the defending champion, handed Chicago Mother McCauley a really blistering loss last year, beat them by 30 points, if my recollection is not too bad after a year. But this Stevenson ball club, they're talented, and of course we talked about the 4 all-state players, 2 on each team, and we'll get into the X and O's and the comments of tonight's ball game from the coaches and everything. But this Elgin ball club, the Maroons, again only losing 1 ball game, packed full of talent. But the 2 players that you're going to see a lot of tonight, they're prime timers, they're blue chippers, Melissa Parker and Leslie Schock, 2 fine basketball players, and there's a look at their stats.
Well, Parker ran into a little foul trouble the other day, but she's going to be playing for Illinois next year, be playing either the point or the off spot, averaging 18 points and 6 boards. She makes them go. And then Schock just had a great semifinal game, really did a nice job boarding for them, and gets down the floor in her transition nicely.
Well, they're coached by Lee Turek in his 6th season. And of course, you know, there's been some criticism from some around about the schedule of this Elgin ball club. Well, how do you calm down your critics, or how do you shut them down, so to speak? Hey, let's go to Joe Passion with the coach, and we'll find out.
Despite what criticism may have been out there regarding a weak regular season schedule, you may have had one of the toughest postseason routes to get to the championship game. How did they play in with each other to get you here to the championship?
Well, again, I think our kids were definitely prepared for this kind of competition. They've had a lot of confidence. They've had tough summer competition against these teams, so we knew what to expect. We have no control over our schedule with 16 conference games, and we are in our 2 tournaments of Wheaton North and Wheaton Warrenville, and we're only allowed 2 non-conference games. So we picked as tough non-conference games as we could possibly get. We were in the Chicago Classic, and we played a team from West Waterloo, Iowa, which is a super team. That's our only loss at this time. And we also played with Chicago, Washington, one of the top teams in Chicago. So, you know, for what it's worth, we feel we played some tough competition there. And again, I think our kids were prepared throughout the summer and going to summer camp and playing some of the top teams in the Midwest at High Five Camp.
Lee Turek in his 6th season. That's how you silence your critics.
Tell 'em.
Kelly, you get the job done, and they're in the championship title game here in the state of Illinois, and that's how you take care of business here. You got to get it done on the court, and they've done it coming down the stretch. Their first title appearance ever. 2 Sweet 16 appearances for them last year, and they're going up against the defending champions here in Class AA. Number 1 ranked in the state, number 3 ranked in the country. Stevenson, the Patriots, only losing 1 ball game. A well-coached, but a lot of talent. And boy, when you think of this Stevenson ball club, 2 names had better come to mind, and that is Catchings and Coleman.
Well, there's no doubt Taja Catchings might be one of the most explosive players that has ever played here in the state of Illinois, averaging 21 points and 13 boards. She's picked up the slack after her sister left. And Katie Coleman, there's no question, she signed early with Purdue. She'll be helping out the Boilermakers next year with her 6-foot frame, 20 points, 9 boards. 2 real keys.
Well, Kelly, you know, it takes 5 players to start a basketball game, and most coaches go 8, 9, and 10 deep. We'll see some bench play tonight. And Coach Matucci puts a lot of credence in role playing and his bench and his other girls besides Catching and Coleman. Our Joe Passion caught up with Coach Matucci. Let's go to Joe now for a comment.
And 1.
Despite losing an All-State player and having 2 great All-State players still here, it seems like the rest of the roster is the reason Stevenson's here. How would you describe that?
Well, as any great teams in the past will tell you, you need to have role players. For us, number 20, Noelle Mendenwald, her role is to D it up against some of the opposing players, best offensive threats, people who could shoot the ball well from the perimeter. 14, Christy Miller. She's another young lady whose job it is to handle the offense at the point, deliver the ball to Catchings and Coleman at the right time, and D it up. Trishta Clark is the spot up. When the double teams are happening to Taj, it's Katie. Trish is usually there hanging at the perimeter, and she's going to knock down those shots. Kelly Kirsten has a role, defense and rebound. Same with Carolyn Roth. Jennifer Workins is a good scorer. She's a slasher type player who is defending better, but if she played defense a little bit better, she probably could start consistently. But she's a good scorer. She can put the ball in the hole. And that's what you try to do when you have great players like Catchings and Coleman, to surround them with as many role players as you can.
That was Frank Matucci, his thoughts on tonight's ball game. Now, Kelly, let's take a look at our American Air and American Eagle team comparisons tonight. Brought to you by American Eagle Cargo. When you need your package delivered today, not tomorrow, call 1-800-CARGO-AA. There's our comparisons, Elgin and Stevenson. You get it done on the court, Kelly, but hey, this is almost a push.
Well, Elgin, slightly little advantage in the field goals, also three-point shooting, slightly better at the free throw line, but really you've got to give rebounding to Stevenson. Other than that, looking at size and quickness, 2 very explosive, very quick teams, very balanced. It's an even game on paper.
So that is our American Air and American Eagle team comparisons tonight, but irrespective of what we think the team comparisons will be, again, you have to get it done for 4 quarters of basketball and get it done on the court tonight. Kelly, you had an opportunity to give us your thoughts on your keys to victory for tonight's ball game.
Well, Leslie Schock has got to be in the mix. She had a terrific semifinal game. She'll be playing her ball next year at Northwestern. She's got to be a factor for them. When Kaitis, defensively, one of their big defensive stoppers, she's got to have a big night. They've got to be consistent, hit their free throws at the free throw line.
So let's look at Stevenson. Their keys, obviously, they put a lot of credence on up-tempo transition points.
They like to pressure the ball. They like to get up and down the floor. They're going to need to score the points they normally do in their transition game. Also, very important, they've got to control the boards like they're capable of with Catching and Coleman to get into their running game. And both teams really need to stay out of foul trouble. We've talked about these key players that everybody's going to be featuring. We've got to make sure that they're on the floor when the game's on the line.
Sounds good. Okay, Kelly, thanks for your keys. Now let's go to some game notes for tonight's ball game. First Elite 8 appearance ever for the Elgin Maroons, ranked number 2, as we know, all season long. 4-year record, really, really nice.
Well, terrific, 109-12. I mean, that's just an astonishing record over 4 years. Obviously, the players in this program have worked hard in the summertime, worked in the offseason, created this opportunity that they have here at this time.
Here's Stevenson's game notes. Second Elite appearance ever last year. They are the defending champions, ranked number 1 all year long. They've been at the top of the heap.
Well, and they're trying to compete with Marshall as the only other repeat champion. It'll be interesting. Stevenson tonight, this is their second chance to come back and see if they can win back-to-back.
So a penny for his thoughts. Frank Matucci, as he prepares for a twin-peat, so to speak. Can he defend the title here? His team, I should say, against an awfully good Elgin ball club. Lee Turek, I'd like to give a nickel for his thoughts before tonight's ball game. I'm expecting a real good basketball game tonight. Kelly, your thoughts?
Well, the only thing I'm concerned with is both these teams have played earlier today. There's going to be a fatigue factor one way or the other. Both teams had to put a lot of effort into their semifinal games. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the game tonight.
Well, let's go now to courtside to Steve Adams, the PA announcer here at Redbird Arena, for our announcements of the teams that will participate here in this year's Class AA state finals.
The Patriots of Stevenson High School of Lincolnshire, who enter this game with a record of 33-1. At forward for Elgin, a 5'9" senior, number 23, Melissa Parker. At forward for Stevenson, a 6' senior, number 12, Kaja Catchings. At the other forward for Elgin, a 5'9" junior, 43, Tina Wenkaitis. The other forward for Stevenson, a 5'6" senior, number 20, Noel Mendenwald. At center for Elgin, a 6'3" senior, number 25, Leslie Schock. At guard for Stevenson, a 6' senior, 23, Katie Coleman. At guard for Elgin, a 5'6" junior, number 13, Susie Smith. At guard for Stevenson, a 5'3" senior, number 14, Christy Miller. And at guard for Elgin, a 5'7" senior, number 5, Carissa Turek. And finally, at guard for Stevenson, a 5'6" senior, number 22, Trish DeClark. And now introducing the coaches from Elgin in his 16th season, Lee Turek. And from Stevenson in his 8th season, Frank Matucci. Introducing the officials for this Class AA state championship game, John Biddles.
We'll return right after these local messages and championship basketball. Number 1 in the great state of Illinois against number 2, the ceremonial handshakes. And boy, I've waited 3 days for this one, Kelly.
How often do you walk into the huddle and have both players smile and shake hands with each other? They know each other. They've played each other a lot of times before tonight.
Zip. The rebound, the first shot of the basketball game. Coleman, let's take a look at our officials working this championship game. Dr. John Biddles and Bob Hawkins have elevated themselves to this. This is like the Final Four, guy. It doesn't get any better than this.
This is the big dance for them, too.
Elgin with the basketball. Their first offensive set of the evening. The kiss off the glass will not roll. Catching with the board.
Schock wide open there. I think she was so surprised she completely missed an easy layup.
Outlet to 5'3" senior Christy Miller getting the call tonight, but it won't be long till Noel Mendenwald will come into the lineup. She's suffering a little bit. In the front court. Kicks it down the right wing. Ball movement now by Elgin. No score. We're about 45 seconds into the opening frame here from Redbird Arena. Elgin will reload on the offensive end. That's Smith, hands it off to the far side to Parker. All-Stater out on top. Great numbers for her. 18.4, and that's the reason she's an All-Stater. Took it big time to the hoop.
Stevenson forgot where she was. She just drove right down the lane there. No help at all. Got the easy layup. Little breakdown the Stevenson defense.
Miller will hold the basketball out on top to Coleman into Catchings. The 1-2 punch. Catchings short. Rebound quickly down in the hands of Winkaitis. Nice player.
A lot of transition here tonight. Both teams play up-tempo. Both teams pressure a little bit, although I doubt we're going to see Elgin pressuring. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Stevenson, a little half-court matchup, maybe a little trapping press.
Here's the steal by Stevenson into the front court. Christy Miller, the little playmaking point guard and floor marshal. Holds up the left hand, now right hand, one finger. Down left wing to Coleman. 2-0 Elgin in the lead here early going. We're 2 minutes into this championship game here from Redbird Arena.
Well, they don't want to give Coleman that three-point shot. She's very effective from the three-point area, has lived and died by the three-point shot a couple times this year. I'm sure it's going to come in handy for her next year with the Boilermakers.
DeClark. Baseline Catchings. I think they'll wave the bucket off of the foul. Will be whistled along the baseline. It'll be charged to Tina Winkaitis. Winkaitis averages 9.4. 5'9" junior. One more look. Baseline drive. Catchings.
Well, Winkaitis got beat there on the baseline. Schock didn't step out very aggressively to take the charge. Had she, Winkaitis might have avoided that foul.
Inbound. Baseline. Mendenwald. Coleman holds the ball.
Coleman's got to look for that shot.
Catchings. Dotted line. Turn around. Bucket.
Kept her feet. Nice head fake. Good step through. It's a big-time play there.
We're tied at 2-all. 5:39. Clock rolling here in the first period. Great crowd on hand. Top of the key. Hot off the iron. Rebound shot. Up, scoop to the hoop. 360 around the iron. Will not roll for Parker. And here comes the Patriots.
I think we see a little nerves here by Elgin. They've missed some easy buckets, been getting themselves open down low, haven't been able to stick them in yet.
Catching, can't get the bunny to roll. Here comes Elgin into the front court.
Parker's got to settle them down out there, and they've got to get themselves a good shot here. They need to break the ice a little bit.
Maroons, Parker, 3, too hot, and rebound Coleman. She'll clear right now, right-hand dribble. Takes it all the way, coast to coast, layup, gets the roll and in. How about that one? 4-2, Stevenson by 2.
Well, Parker was there to take the charge. Coleman just stepped right around her, finger rolled it in.
Maroons load up on the offensive end. What a great matchup. 2 All-Staters, one-on-one there.
Yeah, you look at Catchings and Parker going at it up on top.
Will not roll for Elgin. Catchings rebounds. Coleman.
When you got a 6-foot point guard bringing the ball down the floor, you're in pretty good shape, I'd say. Not many high school teams have that going on for them.
Christy Miller, all 5'3" of her. Left side wing to the Clark.
Winkaitis doing her best to bump Catchings as she goes through the lane. She doesn't want to give her an easy cut, make her trip down there worth it.
Catching, short, rebound, back into the hands of Stevenson, now stolen away by Elgin. Here they come.
Great block by Schrock, stepped in there, kept her feet, got up. Nice contact on the ball. There she goes.
Nothing but net. Leslie Schock, another All-State player. 18.6 average, nothing but the bottom of the net.
Well, she had a terrific semifinal game. She's going to need to continue to do the same thing. Pull up there, hit that shot.
We're tied at 4. 3:40, clock rolling first period. Championship basketball here on the Illinois High School Association Basketball Network. I don't know that it gets any better than this. Terrific crowd on hand to watch this one.
Stevenson running a clear out there for Coleman. Elgin stopped, picked him up. Coleman tough to the aggressive boards. Let's see if Elgin can get anything out of this transition.
Parker, here's the shot. It's no good. The block and the foul called against Miller.
Well, both teams are getting back defensively and defending fairly well. There's not been a lot of easy breakaways as we saw so many other times earlier in this tournament, but defensive transition, both teams getting back well and defending.
This will be Leslie Schock's 113th trip of the 95-96 season to the line. She likes it, shoots it at 74%. How about this one? Coast to coast, a little instant replay coming your way.
Got her head up, looking to see who's down the floor. Guess what? She's the only one. Takes it to the hoop, steps right around Parker for the lay-in.
And Schock gets the first one to roll. No, she missed it, excuse me. We're tied at 4-all.
This is an excellent free throw shooting team for Elgin. Schock herself shoots at 76% from the line.
Tall archer, and it was a good one. One of your network sponsors is Ford. Country Companies Insurance. When it matters most, the country's behind you. 1-point ball game. Elgin, the Maroons, by 1 over number 1 ranked Stevenson, 5-4. And I'll tell you what, Kelly, the first 5 of this one or so has been everything I wanted and thought it would be.
Well, there's been a lot of energy expended out there. You don't see much up on the scoreboard at this point. Both teams really struggling to kind of get in the flow and get some tempo going. I wouldn't say either team's dominated anything yet. Stevenson with a little bit more consistency on the... Oh, I see. Stevenson shooting 44%, Elgin 49%. Both teams pretty even at this point.
Miller into the front court. Left side on the wing. Back out to Catchings at the post. She'll take it to the hoop. Will it roll? Yes, it'll count. She'll go to the line for the old-fashioned, conventional three-point play.
Well, she got fouled. NBA. She got fouled before she took the shot up. Right here, she gets hacked on the arm. Actually draws the contact nicely. Got the three-point opportunity now to step up there at the line and knock this one down. Shooting 63% from the free throw line. She's a first-team All-Stater, as we've said many times already this evening.
She has 4 points here in tonight's ball game. Looking for 5. Hot, no good. Rebound quickly into the hands of Susie Smith. Here comes All-Stater Melissa Parker into the front court. Under 3 to play. Here is the first frame from Redbird Arena. Oh, textbook pass inside. Book it. How big was that by Leslie Schock once again?
Well, we've talked about Schock being a key factor tonight. She needs to get on track and get some points early, get her confidence, take the ball to the basket. She's not as aggressive inside as Coleman and Catchings, but she certainly's got the size to battle in there with them.
Shock with a rebound. Looks for some guard help. Finds Susie Smith. Working that offense with the motion.
Really spreading the offense here, trying to get Stevenson to come out there and pick him up.
Turek looking for a little help. Comes out top of the key to Smith. Left of the key now. Wing, Parker. Shot good. Kisses it off the glass again. Leslie Shock. She's in a little zone early.
Well, and we talked about that at the top of the show. You see the penetration there on the baseline by Parker. She draws the traffic. Finds Shock open for the easy bucket.
Miller. Catchings along the baseline.
Now just playing a straight 2-3. Ketchy's trying to work inside. Can't put the ball on the floor against a zone like that. Somebody's going to get a hand on it.
Coleman, All-Stater. Stevenson with the basketball. Baseline drive. Coleman up and in.
No help down there on the baseline. Linkaitis just went out there, got beat. No help on the weak side. Schrock's got to step over there and take a charge.
Clock rolling here in the first period. Melissa Parker inside to Shock. Back to Parker. Shake and bake move around. Catchings takes it to the hoop. Can't get the roll. Rebound Coleman.
Nice inside-outside work there. Great bounce pass to DeClark.
Traveling on the setup move. That's DeClark. And let's join our host, Joe Passion.
Prior to the game, had a chance to talk with both head coaches, and of course the question is how they handle the pregame locker room talk. Stevenson was here last year. You may remember last year, Coach Frank Matucci's father, who was a very active part of this team for years, passed away toward the latter end of the season. It was a very emotional time for them. That was a key to their emotional win last year. This year, all business. Frank stuck to that, although he did find a few emotional keys to hit on beforehand. Lee Turek, though, he just tried to keep his team on the strategy of the game, and the way they're mixing up their defense and spreading the ball offensively on the other end seems to be working.
1 point lead for Elgin. Shot no good. Rebound Stevenson. Here they come into the front court.
You know, one thing when they spread the team out like that and they take that kind of shot, they've got to get on the offensive boards, and they're not doing that right now.
DeClark takes the long shot. The rebound comes down to the hands of Stevenson. They load up again, but here comes Elgin with the basketball. Up by one, closing 35 seconds here in the period. Shock. Now back out on top, holding for one shot.
So you see the spread here, and anytime you get a bucket, you get an opportunity to score on this. You get your shot put up. You've got to have 4 people crashing, or you're not going to have an opportunity to slow them down on the break.
That's Leslie Shock. Now they'll go to their other blue chipper primetime player, Melissa Parker. Defensively, it's Miller on Parker. Here we go, under 10
Watch
seconds.
A little screen and roll up on top, a kick out inside-outside game with Schrock and Parker.
And Shock will get the shot off, and she's fouled with 1.9 ticks left to play here in the first period.
Well, you love going to the free throw line with your shooter. Again, penetrates the baseline, draws some traffic. Nice bounce pass in there to Leslie Schrock.
So that'll be the first personal foul called on Warkins, who's checked in the lineup. Jennifer draws her first personal foul. At the charity stripe, Leslie Shock, All-Stater. Averages 18.6. That one's hot all the way back over the top of the backboard here.
She's a 6'3" senior, averaging 18 points, 8 boards a game. An early signer with Northwestern Wildcats. She'll be playing in the Big Ten next year against Taja Catchings, Katie Coleman, and her other teammate, Melissa Parker.
So Kelly Kirsten checks in, a 5'10" senior for Stevenson. Also checking in is Felice Rosenzweig, 5'10" junior. So a little substituting here with 1.9 left to play. Shock's got one more coming from the line. Up and no good. And that will end the first 8 minutes of this title game here from Redbird Arena. We'll return after these local messages.
Shadowing each other to find a weakness. A low-scoring first quarter. Want to remind you, though, coming up at the half, there'll be no shadowing around here. We'll have the Sterling 1977 team, the first girls champion. We'll talk about them as well as the reason why the high schools are so good. The 7th and 8th grade feeders that are also champions in their own right. Mike?
Thanks, Joe. We'll be looking forward to that at halftime. And we are also, Joe, surprised at the 9-8 score. Both these teams up-tempo clubs and been averaging 70 and 65 respectively. The Maroons bring 70 a game and Stevenson 65. And hey, I tell you, I'm just a little bit surprised. I'm not disappointed in the game we're seeing. It's an excellent ball game. However, you know, these two teams, they'll get it going, and number one against number two. Joe?
Number one versus number two. It's a unique situation here in the IHSAs as Parker scores again, and this is only the 4th time it's ever occurred in history. Number one versus number two. Think back, 1988. Remember T-Town? St. Edwards was here from Elgin, ironically. 89, Class A, T-Town again against Hume Shiloh. And then, of course, just 3 years ago now, Marshall from Chicago in that very action-packed win over the Maine West Lady Warriors. This is only the 3rd time in history. Should be an interesting battle the rest of the way.
Thanks, Joe. Things will pick up, no question about it, both offensively for sure. 11-8 3-point lead. Hey, how about the three from Coleman?
Waiting for Coleman to warm up. She's had plenty of time out there. They're giving her a lot of space, challenging her to take that shot. She's been known to make it, so I'm sure they're going to have somebody out in her face next time.
Well, she's put up 138 threes on the year, made 56 of them for an awfully nice 40%. That, my friends, was her 57th past the three-point arc.
Got a little change in the matchup here. Shock being guarded by Catchings right now.
With that,
Christy Miller trying to battle against Melissa Parker.
With that three, we're tied at 11, and the travel and the turnover by Elgin, it'll be Stevenson basketball. 94 feet to go, and there's a good look at the head coach. Lee Turek in his 6th season has compiled a pretty nice record, 260 wins against only 150 losses. Catchings! How do you defend that one, Kelly?
What an explosive move. Takes the ball with her left hand of the hoop, just rises up, shoots right over everybody. She's strong to the hoop.
I believe this is the first lead of the ball game for Stevenson. They lead it by 2 now, 13-11. 6:19, the clock rolling here in the 2nd period of this Class AA championship game. Here's the shot by Turek. It's short, gets her own rebound. Shock with the basketball to Turek, right side to Smith.
Good ball movement, smart to pull it back out and work to get a little bit better shot. No need to rush it up there. I think this will help Elgin kind of get some tempo going. They really haven't, even though they've got a small lead or slightly, I guess Stevenson's up 2 now, have had a lead. They haven't established any tempo in this game. Really, neither team has.
Parker tries the three, it won't roll. Coleman into the front court to Catchings. Skip pass all the way to Miller. Back to Coleman. She'll pass up the three, goes to Miller. She won't take the three. Here we go.
Clark
long
will.
range. Banks it off the glass. Holy cow, Therese DeClark. How do you do?
I think she called that. It's a horse shot from 21 feet out. Uses the glass, makes sure it's going to go in the bottom of the net.
By 5, 16-11. Stevenson on the defensive end. Here's the penetrating drive, baseline, left-handed shot, good by Winkaitis. Oh, nice move.
Winkaitis is a tough defensive player, but she's also got some nice offensive skills. She's a strong lefty, took it right there, strong to the hoop.
Now things are starting to heat up a little bit here at Redbird Arena. There's Lee Turek. You can see a little flush on his face. He's intense, along with Frank Matucci, 2 quality guys. They came up here with one thing in mind and one thing only: take back the hardware.
Well, you see that that three-pointer by DeClark. That just might be something that gets them moving here. Right now, we just talked about tempo. Really, no team has established much of that. Kind of feeling each other out, trying to see who's going to really take control of this game.
Under 5 to play here in the 2nd period. 16-13. Coleman banks it off the glass. Stevenson with the last 2 unanswered buckets. 18-13, 5-point spread.
Stevenson's owning the backboard. They're finding the spot up there, kissing it off sweetly. Katie Coleman is really starting out strong here tonight. Much better offensively than she's been in some other games.
That's how you get back in a ball game. Turek with the three.
Coach's daughter, she's been a role player for him all year. She's got the ability to shoot a three. If DeClark lets another one fly.
It's hot. Rebound, All-Stater Melissa Parker. She'll clear into the front court.
Now this is more the kind of game we were talking about, Mike. Up and down the floor, transition baskets, quick, hard, aggressive defense. Both teams very, very aggressive in going to the basket.
Turek, right corner to Shock. Deep left corner. Good defense by Stevenson. Not allowing the three there. Melissa Parker one-on-one with Christy Miller, top of the key. Takes it up inside 15. Baseline drive. Smith partially blocked, and Stevenson has it. Catching will clear into the front court. Right-hand dribble.
Great hustle by DeClark. She got beat on the baseline down there, but recovered. Here's Catching down at the other end.
Oh, one-on-one, nothing but Taja Catching.
Well, Catching's got the great ability to get up in the air, control her body, not charge, and get the shot off cleanly. She's done that the last couple times down offensively.
Parker, great feed to Shock, bucket.
Inside the Schrock. We've got to continue to see that for Elgin to be competitive in this game tonight.
DeClark, right-hand dribble into the front court. We have a 2-point ball game. Stevenson by 2. Miller loads up and sets up the offense here for this Patriot ball club.
Both teams mixing it up a little bit defensively, offensively, and really it doesn't seem like either coach is settled in on what they're going to do here tonight, trying to figure out what's going to be most effective.
Coleman to Catchings.
That's effective.
Oh, effective, I should say. 22-18. 4-point spread, clock rolling. Here in the second period. Shot, set, shoots, scores.
Again, the penetration draws the traffic. Melissa Parker creates a lot of problems because she can put the ball on the floor, go to the hoop, draw a double team, and if Leslie Schrock keeps moving, she's going to be able to get herself open.
Catchings weaves her way into traffic, up off the glass and in.
Well, it's a 2- and 3-player game right now. We're just going up and down the floor, exchanging baskets.
Catchings with 12 in double figures. Schock has also a double-figure first half for Elgin. She has 11. Good look at Frank Matucci. Enjoyed being around him this weekend. He's a fun guy to be around. He's a fun guy to talk with. 24-20, Stevenson by 4. We will return right after these local messages. 24-20, Stevenson by 4. 9-8 at the first turn, and things have stepped up a notch, my friend Kelly.
I'd say they've exploded in the second half. Look at Elgin. The second quarter have improved to 50% from the field goal, and Stevenson an astonishing 77% from the field. That happens when you take good shots and they're close to the basket.
How about that? Heating things up, for sure. I like it. Up tempo, that's what we expected. That's what Coach Matucci said he was going to do. That's what Coach Lee Turek said they were going to do. But their kids have just now kicked it into third gear.
The kids relax a little bit. It's not just a state championship game now. It's just another game. They're playing hard, and they're blocked out to a lot of this stuff. They're just playing, trying to concentrate and do what they do best.
Elgin missed his shot. Catchings with the board to Coleman. Coleman back to Miller. 5'3" guard. Challenged by Miller.
Winkight is
down to Coleman.
pinned down there against Catchings.
Almost lulled Elgin to sleep. Didn't get the easy bunny, and here come the Maroons into the front court. Down by 4. Miller pulls them back within 2.
That was a great transition basket. Christy Miller didn't step up there soon enough to pick up Melissa Parker, and Melissa just put her head down, took it to the hoop. She's got the size advantage and the quickness advantage right there.
2-point margin.
Mixing it up again, you see a 2-3 zone. We've seen some man-to-man. I think we've seen a little bit of matchup. Try to give them a different look every time down the floor. Stevenson trying to figure out what they're going to do offensively against it.
Patience by the Stevenson ball club. DeClark to Miller.
Well, they're working a 4-player perimeter game, trying to get Taja involved. Now they've got her back outside. In and out.
Baseline. The pass was intended along the baseline to Workins.
Nice defensive play by Schock. She just stepped right around there, got her hand in the passing lane. You players watching at home, move your feet. Play defense with your feet. Leslie Schock did that right there, got the tip.
Medenwald and Kirsten check in to the Stevenson lineup. Coleman will take the 3 off just a little bit and end to the hands of Winkaitis.
Winkaitis doing some good work on the defensive boards down there. She's really been a scrappy player. One of their key role players, I think, for the Elgin team is Winkaitis. I mean, she gets 9 points, 3 boards, but she's their top defender and a very scrappy on the offensive and defensive rebounds.
You can see in the right-hand corner the clock rolling down to end the second period. A 2 will tie, a 3 will put Elgin by 1.
It's a big emotional basket here going into the half. We'll see what Elgin can come up with there.
Shock, All-Stater, right side, midpoint wing to wing Kinas. Back out on top to Turek. Working the ball. We're coming up to the 10-second mark. The push, Parker can't get the roll, and scramble for the basketball on the alternating possession rule. It'll be Patriot basketball.
That was a big drive by Parker, but she was completely triple-teamed, really had no chance to get the shot off cleanly, and came to the floor. Now we've got a chance for Stevenson to knock one down right here.
To Clark. Clock rolling. With the basketball, she'll put the three up. It'll be well off the mark, and that will end the first 16 minutes of this championship game here from Redbird Arena. Stevenson by 2, 24-22. And this has been a much better second period than the first. And let's go courtside to Joe Passion.
All right, thank you, Lee. Talk a little bit about that half. It was so tight, but it seemed like by spreading the floor offensively and by setting a lot of different defensive looks, it seemed like you had the place where you wanted it to be.
Well, we want to keep them as uncomfortable as we possibly can, and that's why we're trying to give them a defensive look. And we want to make Catchings have to really work for her stuff. And we're really not a zone team, but we're trying to take away her drive from the top and force her to maybe get a little bit out of control. She's a great player. She's real tough to stop for us right now.
What do you see adjusting yourself to advance what you've started here in the first half?
Our style is probably going to be fairly consistent throughout, giving them different looks, and hopefully get the game down to the end where we got certainly a chance to win.
Okay, thank you very much. Enjoy the half. It's been an interesting first half, certainly a 2-point lead here for Stevenson, and we will have lots more coming your way here at the half as we will talk about the 1977 Sterling team, the first girls state basketball championship team, and lots more back from Redbird Arena after these messages. We're back here at halftime. The defending champion, Class AA champs from Stevenson and Lincolnshire. Patriots in the locker room with a deuce lead over a very feisty Elgin Lady Maroon team of Coach Lee Merrick. And we'll talk more about that as we get back here and get ready for the second half. But in the meantime, there's a reason why some of these great schools are so good. You've heard the term before, feeder systems. And certainly the 7th, 8th grade systems, school systems, not only academically, but also athletically, have been a tremendous organization. For 60 years now, there has been a group servicing girls and boys throughout the state of Illinois, the only association of its kind for junior high school students in the USA, like the 1995 Class 7A girls basketball champions from Bowen Southeastern. Here are an idea of how they have become champions. The 1995 7A girls basketball champions from Pana Junior High. Now, these all headed to the championship round, such as Carthage. That's right, Carthage. You saw them in the Class A championship game. Well, you know where they're going to be getting some more great players that are coming back. Now, in Class AA, we also saw how there were some great feeder systems here. The 1995 Class AA girls basketball champion, Pittsfield. The Redskins were part of it. The Spartans here, 7A girls basketball champions from Pana. Pana, another team that made it down here to the Elite 8 and into the Sweet 16. And you can tell just by seeing some of the other junior high standout athletes that will be going on to Pana High School. So we may be seeing more of Pana High School in the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, and maybe even the Final 2 in the championship game this time next year. Pittsfield, another outstanding program on the high school level. Here's a reason why. Great 8th grade girls basketball champions. Michelle Logan, all the other coaches, an undefeated record. Pana High School, their junior high. Here are their records. Heath Strom, another unbeaten mark. And these are opportunities where not only do the associations do great work, so do the coaches and everyone that volunteers their time. We will have more time to talk about the 3rd and 4th place finishers from the consolation game. We'll talk about that after we return with more of our halftime festivities following these local messages. AA basketball championship game, more of that later on, but it's the 20th anniversary of girls basketball championships here in Illinois. but certainly their history goes far further back than that. As we find out as we look back on the 1977 Sterling Golden Girls, the first champion, the first of many to come.
For the Sterling Golden Warriors, number 23 and forward, 5'8", junior, Karen McKenzie. Number 42 and forward, 5'9", senior, Dawn Smith. Number 41, the center, 6'1", junior, Fran Smith. And number 33 at guard, 5'7", sophomore, Joe Lessman. Number 21 at guard, 5'6", senior, March Harris.
To say these young ladies knew they were about to become the darlings of girls basketball was unthinkable. After all, they were awfully young, starting 2 seniors, 2 juniors, and a sophomore. So what did the first ever state basketball tournament mean to the players?
Until we got into the tournament time, we didn't focus too much on the actual state tournament.
It was a very overwhelming feeling to think that we'd come that far to go to state.
There were at least 2 people who had an inkling of what could be.
She hoped in 4 years that we'd have a state championship team, or a championship tournament, and she thought that me and March could be the team leaders and take our team down to state.
After the regular season, I think we thought maybe we had a shot for getting down to Champaign, or at that time, the first year it was held at Illinois State.
The Golden Girls breezed through the regular season, winning their first 13 games by an average of 36 points. As the regionals began, there was only one team on Sterling's mind.
We're thinking about Moline, because the year before, when I was a sophomore and played on the varsity team, Moline just smoked us.
Emotionally, I think probably the Moline game, but it was, I think the things I remember the most were when we started winning, how people started, taking notice of us, and when we played at home, the number of people that filled this field house was phenomenal.
The 72-62 win over Moline and a trip to the Super Sectional was celebrated in many ways, but none was more unusual than
stayed out till 4 in the morning playing basketball. Yeah, with Rock Falls High School boys. That's a no-no.
Following a Super Sectional win over Kewanee, it was on to Normal and Illinois State University's Horton Fieldhouse. It also meant the Golden Girls would meet the biggest challenges of their season, the first quarterfinal game in girls state tournament history, and the state's #1 ranked team, Chicago Finger.
That was scary because they were a big school, and it was, we knew they played rough ball.
Then the excitement hit. I don't ever remember playing anybody as good as those girls, ever.
By all accounts, both teams played scared and played poorly. It seems Sterling's Golden Girls' 5 playoff wins, much like the regular season margin of victory, 30-plus points, had finally caught up to them. But wait a minute. There's magic in the air. Hollywood couldn't have written a better script. David versus Goliath. The Golden Girls from the small town of Sterling capturing everyone's fancy. The score here is tied. There is no time on the clock, and their best free throw shooter is on the line for 1 and the bonus.
No time left on the clock. The score is 36-36. Karen McKenzie up and no good. No good. The game goes into overtime.
I thought I could make it. I mean, the way I was playing that day, I had all the confidence in the world.
She's the one, and she missed, but we were still in it.
And I remember saying, well, it's ours now. We just start the game over again.
In our hearts, we still knew that we could get the job done.
With that indomitable spirit, Sterling went on to beat Finger 43-38 in overtime, with Marche Harris dominating. The Golden Girls then defeated a tough Palatine Friends squad before beating a Never Say Die Washington, Illinois team 52-38 to become Illinois' first ever girls state basketball champions.
The next girls state basketball champions will be crowned after this half, and we'll be back after these local messages. place trophy raised high by the Lady Redskins of Morris, who lost in the consolation game but take home victories, hardware, and smiles back to beautiful Morris, Illinois. The third place trophy belonging to the Silver Streaks of Galesburg, winning by 14 in the consolation game played prior to the championship game. The second half of our girls Class AA championship game is about to tip off. We'll have that when we return with more of our second half from Redbird Arena following these local messages. To make this real quick, Coach.
Couldn't be any tighter, could it?
You're talking to the second half. What do you make? What do you adjust here to go in the second half?
Well, I think offensively we got to get the ball down inside low into Taj a bit more in the blocks. I told her she's giving up on the blocks too quick. Also to Katie Coleman. And it'll open. We got to get them on the same side of the floor. Our spacing's a little off. Also defensively, we got to do a little better job of double teaming Parker. We seem to be missing the point of that. You know, 23 is their player. We got
24-22. Thanks, Joe. And that was a quick word with Frank Matucci in his 8th season. Got to get it down on the blocks to Tasha Ketching. She has 11, check that, 12 points here in the first half, countered by Leslie Schock. So, as you talked about, Kelly, the All-Staters have really kind of pushed each other here in the first 16 minutes of tonight's ball game.
Well, we couldn't have a closer game. Every statistic coming out of the halftime break is even, dead even. So we're 0-0 for all extensive purposes.
Coleman, coast to coast, bucket, 26-22, a 4-point lead for Stevenson. Elgin down to their offensive end. We'll see what they've got up their sleeve here in the second half. Mike Mitchell along with Kelly Hill and Joe Passion here from Redbird Arena. My partner, my analyst tonight, former outstanding collegiate athlete at the University of Southern California, coached at Nebraska and Western Illinois, and I'm going to be drawing on your expertise here, Kelly, in the second half and really get down to some X and O's and diagnose it. Let's take a quick look at our Country Companies halftime statistics, brought to you by Country Companies Insurance. When it matters most, the country's behind you, and there's the tail of the tape here in the first half.
Couldn't be more even. Look at the rebounds, the turnovers. There's only been 5 fouls called in the game. Free throws even, field goal percentage even. Stevenson just now with a 4-point lead.
Coleman top of the key. Won't go for her rebound. Down in the hands of Winkaitis, and here comes Melissa Parker. Handoff. Whoa, a little too many steps by Carissa Turek, the 5'7" senior. Set up, knew what she was going to do, shuffled those feet. Turnover, it'll be Stevenson basketball.
I thought you got 2 steps. That looked pretty clear. Here's the transition pass. Great pass by Parker. She gets the ball 1, 2, it's close.
Here's the rule, Kelly. You get 2 in college, you get 3 in the NBA. You don't get any at this level.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is.
Great block by Schock.
Catching, baseline, not there. Rebound, Turek got a hand on it. Good defensive hustle. Oh, she tried to call timeout, but I guess didn't need it. Boy, you know, I see a lot of 20-second timeouts in the collegiate ranks. I think she was thinking, hey, I want to get a quick timeout. She might have been hurt just a little bit, fell on her face as we get a look there at Medenwald, and looks like she might have lost a contact lens.
She's done it before, though. She's popping it back in there. You saw the graphic, only 7 turnovers in the game so far. That's incredible for a championship game with all the pressure, the nerves. You know, even both teams generally throw the ball away a few more times.
Excuse me, Kelly. She is Miss Defense. Her offensive prowess, 2.8 a ball game. But Coach Matucci has her in the lineup for one reason and one reason only, and that's the big D. Let's take a look at our top 10 scoring leaders, and who would you guess? Look at how they shake down at the top of the heap. Catchings of Stevenson, 23.5.
Well, look at that. We've got Catchings, Schock, we've got Parker, Winkaitis, all on the floor tonight. DeClark, all on the floor tonight. And Galesburg, the 3-point winner. Excuse me, the 3rd place winner. Morris also represented. So you see the top 4 teams in this class are well represented by our top 10 scorers.
And I think that list is very apropos of how well this tournament has brought the fans in here to Redbird Arena. We have a timeout on the floor. We have 6:28 remaining here in the 3rd period. A 4-point lead for the defending champions and number 1 ranked Stevenson over number 2 Elgin. 26-22. While
Interesting that they're completely stopping the game so she can put a contact in. Normally that's kind of an injury situation. You step off the floor, somebody comes in, but looks like she's got it in. Any other mistakes tonight will be blamed on that loose contact.
So it was a jump ball called on the possession rule. It'll be Stevenson, Tasha Ketching. By the way, her sister is here to watch tonight's ball game.
Well, I doubt there's been two sisters playing simultaneously for a state championship. Unfortunately, her sister, Tamika, down in Duncanville, they lost out in their playoffs, didn't make it to the final, so she's able to come here tonight to watch her sister and her former teammates.
To the other end, Stevenson with the basketball to Miller. Playmaking point guard will circle out on top. Zone defense now by Elgin. Little pitch and catch out on top of the key. This side, left wing.
Ketching's roaming the lane again, trying to get herself open against the 2-3 zone. Winkita's working her tail off, trying to keep her from getting the ball.
Coleman to Ketching. Patience is a virtue, and the deuce by Ketchings. That's her 14th point of the ball
That was
game.
a great ball reversal by Stevenson. She had Winkita's pinned and got it inside to her for the easy two.
Turk back out on top to All-Stater Melissa Parker. Baseline drive. Oh, almost blocked it. Might have got Ketchings might have got a little tip on it, and here comes Coleman into the front court for Stevenson.
Well, either Ketchings blocked that or a big gust of wind just came in because that ball was definitely affected on that shot.
The All-Stater pulls up with about an 8-footer, and Coleman has 13 and a quick timeout. Melissa Parker wants a timeout, and so does her coach, Lee Turek. And we'll take a timeout too. 22 for Elgin, 30 for Stevenson. One of your network sponsors is Country Companies. Tonight's championship basketball game is brought to you in part by your local Ford dealer. See your local Ford dealer today, and you'll see why there's one more reason to buy a Ford. So it's 30-22, an 8-point lead for Stevenson. This one's certainly not over by any means. It can go any way, either way, and quickly.
Yeah, both Ketchings and Parker are going to be playing for the University of Illinois. Coach Grant's there rebuilding their program. They're going to be nice additions to her program.
Nice feed inside the bucket by Schock. It'll count. She'll go to the line once again for the old-fashioned three-point play. That was a very, very smart timeout by Lee Turek. Called things, set up the nice offensive move. Schock takes the nice assist inside. Let's look at it again.
Again, the penetration, Stevenson trying to help out. Schock just makes a strong cut to the basket. Again, another early signee going to be playing her basketball at Northwestern.
Missed it. Rebound Ketchings. 30-24, 6-point lead for Stevenson. Here they come. Ketchings takes it to the hoop. Let's see which way that one's going, and the foul's going to be called on Elgin. Let's go now to our host, Joe Passion.
You're talking about the letters of intent, who's going where. Tamika Ketchings is in the audience. As Kelly mentioned earlier, her Duncanville, Texas. There she is standing up, watching down there, and she admitted to me prior to the game that she's a little bit remorse that she didn't stay in Illinois, but she was very happy to be with her mom in Texas, had a great time at Duncanville High, really roots on her sister, and hinted somewhat with a smile that maybe when she graduates from Duncanville High after next year, she might commit to come back and play with her sister again.
So her sister is at the line. Got a little more business to take care of. Missed a pair from the line. A rebound. Schock. Here comes the Maroons of Elgin.
Well, Leslie Schock has really come to play here tonight. She's been a big factor in the game. She's their leading scorer. My guess is she's also their leading rebounder. She's got to continue doing what she's been doing.
Parker tries to pass the ball left wing to Smith. You can see why she's an All-Stater. Nice defensive move by Ketching. Good effort, good second effort by Tasha Ketchings. Inbound Elgin. Top of the key, Turek.
DeClark mirroring Melissa Parker up on top. Everybody else kind of playing a soft box defense. You kind of see a box and one. DeClark is chasing Parker.
Here's the three try, will not. It hooks on the rim, comes down to the hands of Coleman, outlet to Ketchings. Here she comes. Shot up. Boy, that would have been a miracle if that would have went through, but the call is traveling. It'll be the Maroons basketball.
That was a good call. Taja really had nowhere to go with that. I think she thought she could just drive down and Elgin would separate, but they didn't. They closed in on her. In fact, we had three players taking a look at her. She just lost control of the ball on that drive.
Good, solid defense. Here we go. We're at the 4:11 mark here in the third period. Championship basketball here on the Illinois High School Association Network.
For those of you that like junk defenses, you're looking at one right now. Here's a box and one. Tricia DeClerc has no idea where the ball is. She's completely face guarding Parker.
Carissa Turek drains the trifecta past the 19-9 mark. We have a three-point ball game.
Well, and if they're going to do that to Parker, they're going to give something else up, and that's where these other role players have got to step up and do something to help Elgin.
On the post, catch to the hoop, shot no good. Big time rebound. Oh, they're going to call a foul over the back on Susie Smith. A tough, tough call by the man in the striped shirt.
That's a tough call. Both players going aggressively up after the ball. Not sure who had position. Obviously, the official thought that Susie Smith was not in position. Boy, that's interesting.
Well, I thought the charge was the toughest call in basketball. We're going to get a look at this one well past the three-point arc, as you can see, as Turek drains the trifecta. Inbound scramble for the basketball, far side, saved into the hands of Stevenson. Miller loads it up on the offensive end. Three-point ball game, third period. Three!
She didn't use the backboard that time. DeClerc found her range.
33-27.
Great pass.
Inside to Shock. Missed the bunny. Rebound Coleman. It's heating up here in the third period.
That was a beautiful pass to Shock. She just didn't quite concentrate and get it down. That was a terrific transition there for Elgin.
Medenwald back out on top to Miller. Left near side wing. Little patience now. Coleman top of the key. Medenwald directing traffic. Back to Miller. 33-27. Stevenson up. Coleman takes the shot. She's fouled. And Coleman will go to the line for a pair.
Well, really trying hard to get down there in front. Susie Smith trying to get in front of Katie.
Watch this one. This one's well worth looking at again. Here's the three from downtown by DeClerc.
The bench goes nuts.
So did I.
Those are fun. Those are fun.
7 ticks under 3 to play here in the third period of this AA championship game here in the state of Illinois. Hey, we promised you a good one. We've got one.
Well, Stevenson's got a little lead here. They're building on it slowly, but you just have the feeling that Elgin's not out of it. They're continuing to chip away and get their shots when they can.
Missed the free one. Elgin into the front court. Melissa Parker with a basketball. Still on the dribble. Quick ball movement down the left wing.
DeClerc all over Parker. Parker's just got to be patient here. The other four players got to look for their shots. Here in the third quarter, 29% for Elgin. Stevenson's really stepped it up, shooting a consistent 42%. That's probably the difference in the game right now. Stevenson taking shots a little bit closer to the basket.
Yeah, to footnote, not all of those were really in too close either.
Yeah,
a couple of threes for sure. Shock takes the shot. No. Big time rebound. Coleman traveled. Credit the defense of Elgin to cause that turnover.
Well, Shock's missed two wide open bunnies down there underneath. Pretty clear that she's not taking her time and concentrate. Those are shots she normally would have down.
6-point spread. Frank Matucci signaling. Here's the shot. Parker can't roll it, and Medenwald got a hand on it. Parker with her own board. Here's Shock, 16, bucket!
Concentrating that time. 0 for 2. She's going to come back and knock the third one down.
33-29. Under 2 to play here in the third period. What a dandy this one's been.
Susie Smith all over Katie Coleman. Now they're going to, looks like they're switching back into a zone defense again. Going back to a 2-3, trying to spread them out.
Near center court. Coleman will dribble the basketball.
Stevenson's happy to stand out there with the lead. Looks like Elgin's going to have to come out and pick them up if they want to play anymore in the rest of this quarter.
33-29. Obviously trying to milk a little bit of time off the clock.
Well, Matucci's got to be comfortable with this lead, and Lee Turk's got his players standing back there. I guess we're going to go into the fourth quarter with the score just as we're looking at it. Neither team going to make any changes here.
So out on top, the triple of Christy Miller. Dribbling the basketball at center court is All-Stater Coleman.
I'll guarantee you this is the first time this year either of these teams have been in this situation, standing and holding the ball as much up-tempo basketball as they play. Very unusual.
Here we go. 56 seconds left. Clock rolling, third period. Stevenson up by 4. Coleman holds the ball. They got to go to Catchings. They'll spread it out, probably go inside to her.
Well, if they don't get a turnover up here first, they've got to do a little bit better job of penetrating and get the ball into the high post. The other two people can't fall asleep down there. To Clark and Mendenwald, got to come up there and maybe help out a little bit.
Now you got to take care of the basketball. Coleman, good dribbler. Back to Catchings. To 5'3" guard Miller.
20 seconds in the quarter.
Okay, now they'll go into about their 15-second offense, and they'll start their motion down toward the bucket.
I think you'll see a spread, and you'll probably see Taja go one-on-one, or Katie penetrate and kick it over to Taja. One of those two players are going to have the ball in their hands.
Here we go. Taja catching, takes it in. Charging call on Catching.
It's a big gamble by Matucci there to play that out and then to end up with a foul. That's not what they wanted to get out of that situation.
Pressure now with 9.9 seconds left here in the third period. Shock will trigger the inbound for the Maroons.
Plenty of time here for Melissa Parker to do something.
Inbound. Into Smith. She'll dribble into the front court. 5 seconds left. Smith comes to their blue chipper, loses the handle. Catchings with the basketball, puts the shot up well short. So with 8 minutes remaining in the season here in the girls' ranks, here in the great state of Illinois, it's a 33-29 lead for Stevenson over Elgin. We'll return after these local messages. Part by Zenith. The quality goes in before the name goes on. And Joe Passion, we had a terrific three-point showdown sponsored by Country Companies, the Queen of the Hill, before tonight's ball game. It was simply terrific.
Sarah Lenskauer of Eureka hit 9 in the final round to overcome and Shumalal of Oak Park River Forest. Sarah of Eureka, the new Country Companies Queen of the Hill in Illinois.
So the final 8 coming your way along the Illinois High School Association Basketball Network. Mike Mitchell along with Kelly Hill and Joe Passion. Boy, I don't know any place else I'd rather be. There's a lot of collegiate basketball going on right now, but we've got a real good, outstanding basketball game going on here at Redbird Arena.
Great save by Catchings there. I've been sitting here trying to watch and see what Stevens is doing on defense. They're really mixing things up.
Catching, tries to go baseline, puts it up. Right-handed push is good.
That's just pure athletic ability, rising up above the defense and getting the ball to go in the basket.
That was the 16th point of the evening for Catchings. Here's the shot, off, not going to be there for Smith. Rebound, Coleman, she'll push it into the front court. 35-29, Stevenson.
Great
partial block. How about that one? I believe that was Shock, wasn't it, with the rejection?
Shock never left her feet and put Katie Coleman on the ground.
Worth looking at again. Here comes Coleman into the front court. Shock closes.
Coleman tries to pull up here. Shock just gets her hand on the ball on the way up, actually.
Good timing. Shock with the steal. She's having a terrific tournament. She should. She's an all-stater.
Great look.
Baseline pass. Parker, short. Rebound, Coleman. Great position.
One of the few looks Parker got at the basket. She's really pushing. We look at the three-point shooting, 50% by Stevenson. 9 boards, 8 boards, another even game. Just slightly better from the field with Stevenson. And there you see the point spread.
6-point ball game. I don't believe it's ever gotten over 6. Catchings turnaround. Dotted line jumper. Book it. 37-29. Her 18th point of the tonight's game. Parker tries to coast, won't roll. Coleman's got to be in double figures, big-time boards.
She's been all over the board. She's been a monster. A little concerned with Melissa Parker trying to force things a little bit. She's a little frustrated, hasn't had her hands on the ball like she's used to. When she does have her opportunity, she's got to slow down, take her time, make a good shot. She's a great shooter.
Into Catchings, the foul will be called from behind, I believe, on Shock. So Stevenson with the lead here in the final frame of this championship game. They lead at 37-29, trying to defend their title here against a pretty doggone good and pesky Elgin ball club.
Well, and that's one of the few fouls we've had in this game. We've really had a clean ball game. Both teams playing very hard for all the transition, the bumping, and the mixing of defenses that we've seen. Really, officials haven't had to blow their whistle too many times at all.
Kirsten triggers the inbound to Catching. It rolls down inside the cylinder and back out. Rebound, Shock. Here comes Parker into the front court. 6 minutes left in the season here in the girls' ranks in Illinois. Parker looking inside. She'll go to her blue chipper. Shock. Count it.
Nice touch. Turned around, squared up, got a good look at the basket. That's the kind of big-time play. She's the reason why she's going to be playing next year in the Big Ten.
Our game 6. Clock continuing to roll here in the final 8 minutes of basketball. 5:40. Clock rolling. fourth period. Stevenson by 6. Catching inside Coleman. Count it!
Nobody's going to stop Coleman inside. They're trying to front her. They're trying to come from the backside. And she just jumped up and put the ball up strung at 6 feet with her vertical. She's tough to guard in there.
And Coleman with 15. So Catchings and Coleman, the right-left punch of the Stevenson Ball Club in double figures. And a foul's going to be called.
Kelly Kirsten in the game. Frank Matucci has said she is one of his top defensive players. He's got her in there to give Shock a tough time.
There she is. Tries to set up. Maybe the official thought she didn't quite have the setup time. Got to be there about a second, I believe, Kelly. And that, my friend, is probably the toughest call in basketball. Timeout on the floor. Stevenson leads by 8. One of your network sponsors is the Dairy Farm Families of Illinois and Wisconsin. 5:17 as you see remaining here in tonight's championship game from Redbird Arena. What a terrific place to have this girls tournament. An 8-point lead for the defending champion Stevenson, but Elgin, they're not rolling over. This one's not over by a long shot. If you're thinking about touching that clicker, don't do it.
All you couch potatoes, leave that thing alone. We've had a game here. This has really been a chess match for the coaches. They've really done some interesting things to try and mix things up, give some different defensive looks. I think it's really paid off for Stevenson this year.
Shock again with the deuce. 19 on the night for Elgin. They're back within 6.
Well, Shock's been a key for him. She's done an excellent job scoring, and she did that in the semifinal game. She's got to do it again here tonight.
What a beautiful assist. Medenwall into Coleman, and Coleman picks up her 17th of the evening.
That's a set play coming out of the timeout. Nice call by Matucci to get that back screen for Coleman on the weak side.
Parker loading up on the offensive end. Trip 4's left to play here in the final 8 minutes of this championship game.
Well, now they're pretty much playing straight player-to-player defense.
2 All-Staters going at it. Here's Turk's 3. It's off, rebound. Nice board by Stevenson. Credit that to Kelly Kirsten, and here comes Catchings into the front court. Catchings down on the wing. Back to Miller. We invite you folks alongside the Illinois High School Association Basketball Network next weekend as our sports team heads to Peoria to the Civic Center for the first time in many, many years, and we'll have the call and the action for you. Quarterfinals begin on Friday, March the 8th, noon and 6:30. Semifinals on Saturday, and the finals. That's the boys A, and then the following weekend on the 15th and 16th, we head right back to Peoria. Hey, if it plays in Peoria, it'll play anywhere, and we're playing the championship A and AA of the boys here in the state of Illinois next weekend and the following. Not much offense. Catching with the junk rebound, put back good. She has got 20 on the night.
That's a big rebound there by Catchings, but what kept that whole play alive was Kelly Kirsten. Her offensive board work gave that opportunity to Catchings.
10-point lead now. Stevenson. They're 3 minutes and 47 seconds away from a back-to-back title here at the Big Dance. And Kelly, you've been there. To these girls tonight, this is just like the Final Four. It doesn't get any bigger than what it is here.
Well, I think those of you that watched the halftime piece, the Sterling girls basketball team from 1977, how emotional that was for them to just have that opportunity to play girls basketball. It's no different 20 years later. There's just more kids playing than there were then.
Terrific. And I wasn't kidding you when we were doing our opening here tonight. Girls basketball has come a long way. The three-pointer is one addition. You saw a terrific setup, squared-up shot by All-Stater Melissa Parker.
Well, she probably felt good getting that thing down. She hasn't hit a shot in a while.
43-35, 3:14 remaining here in tonight's ball game, and one of your network sponsors is Country Companies.
Doing the do when she's not playing basketball. Taja Catchings also is one heck of a babysitter, according to little Charlie up there. Charlie's the son of Harvey Catchings, Taja's dad, his partner in his promotional business, and Charlie obviously a well-kept young man.
Back inbound to Catchings, and a whistle and a foul is going to be called on Parker, I do believe. 3:12 remaining here in this championship game. 43-35, Stevenson smelling another championship.
Really, the difference has been in this game is Melissa Parker has been contained by Stevenson. Schock's played her game, Coleman's played her game, Catchings played her games, all those other factors being equal. The defensive job that they've done against Melissa Parker tonight has been the difference in the game.
DeClark with the basketball. Turek on the defensive side. Looking for a little bit of help. Almost a steal. Good hustle by Susie Smith. Here's Catchings. She has 20 points on the night. No shot, foul before the shot. Not many fouls in this ball game.
No, got her on the drive there. Catchings explosively going in with their left hand, and the help was there. Unfortunately, landed on her wrist.
And really, Kelly, we talked to both coaches before tonight's ball game, and they did put a lot of credence in fouls. They wanted to keep their blue chippers on the court foul-free. That's impossible, but nobody's in real foul trouble right now. Catchings, the shot, good! 22 on the night.
She just has got such a tremendous vertical, and she goes well either left or right. That's very unusual for a high school player to have a good first step going left and right.
Spreads 10 in favor of Stevenson. 45-35. Titus with the basketball.
They don't really need to go to the three yet, but it sure wouldn't hurt them.
Parker inside three-point land. No, not there. Rebound scrambled, and it comes down to the hands of Kirsten. Big board for her. She'll outlet to Coleman. Right side into Medenwald, and here we go. Oh,
Great
Parker.
hustle by Parker off of Medenwald at this point. 10 seconds, hadn't got it over the backcourt line.
Haven't
Good
seen
foul
that
on the
call.
official.
Haven't seen that call in a long time, but it was an excellent call. These guys working this championship ball game, hey, they're the best. They've elevated themselves. They get the call to do the big one.
They've done a great job here tonight, letting the players play, let the players decide the game, and that's certainly the way we've gone here.
Schock takes the inbound trigger. Back in the corner, Turk, three, no. Rebound, tip, Coleman. Parker can't save it out of bounds. It'll be Stevenson basketball.
She about took out a video camera and a cheerleader at the same time down there from her own school. Melissa Parker, gutsy player all over the court, hustling for the ball. It's not over for her. There's 2 minutes left in her season. She wants to make sure that she gives everything she can to it.
10-point lead, Stevenson with the lead and the basketball. Now pressure by Elgin. Inbound to Miller.
Well, both teams with only one loss this year. Elgin not experiencing being behind very often. Let's see what they do here in the last 2 minutes to try and turn the tempo in their favor.
Boy, I'd hate to see them. They're going to go to that. They're going to go to that stall tactic again with a minute 50
Not a
left.
matchup you want here with Christy Miller against Leslie Schock.
Catchings to Miller. Back to Catchings in center court.
They can't even buy a foul up here.
Finally, the foul will be charged on Leslie Schock, and what a terrific tournament she's had.
Yeah, she played her game, and Melissa Parker certainly is a great talent, a great athlete. She's been terrific and throughout the tournament, but really Stevenson did some nice things against her. Made it challenging for her to get her shot off, to get the ball, to kind of do the things she's used to doing. Stevenson really changed things up a lot on her.
Elgin wants a timeout, and we're going to keep it right here and talk things over, Kelly, with 1:38 remaining here in the season for these two basketball teams, 45-35. And I tell you what, the Maroons 31-1 coming into this ball game, the only team that beat them, and there's a good look at their coach as we can go in the huddle with Lee Turek.
Rebounding her butt off, and let's keep it up, keep the ball up, get it out. Now, when we come down on offense, if you get tied up big time, don't take the turnover, call a timeout.
We got 2 timeouts left.
All right, Alec, you got it? Got it? If they score, they're going to press. Run Belleville, inbounder, post.
All right, roll to the ball there.
Well, you've been in the huddle with Frank Matucci, and I promise you, if this was a one-point ball game, he would have kicked it up a level on his intensity side for sure. 10-point lead, 45-35. Stevenson a heartbeat away.
Well,
as a matter of fact, a minute 38 from a back-to-back championship here in Illinois.
What you like about that timeout, Frank's real clear, real decisive. Doesn't add anything new, doesn't twist anything around, doesn't create anything. Of course, he's got a lead. Lee, same thing. Let's run Purdue. Let's run Purdue. They've probably been running Purdue all year. They need to do what got them here. See if they can get Stevenson to make a mistake. Missed the shot.
Missed the shot, Miller. And Catchings. Coleman got the board. They'll reload it up on top. To the near side. The triple team trap and a reaching in foul is going to be called on Carissa Turek.
And DeClark will go to the line as a 70% free throw shooter. We'll see if she banks this one in.
I must commend the Illinois High School Association for a terrific tournament here this year. Commend the folks here at Illinois State. They just are absolutely terrific. The sportsmanship here this year has been marvelous. It's been great.
Overall, even from previous tournaments, I think that the fans are coming down here to support their teams and not put down the others, and that's important.
Parker to Turek. Don't forget, next weekend, join us on the IHSA Basketball Network for more basketball from Peoria. Boys Class A next weekend, the following weekend, the AA ranks, and I promise you, you will have a terrific time in Peoria. If you can't make the trip, join us right here on the IHSA Basketball Network. The station you're watching tonight will also be carrying those games next week and the following week. Just check your times again for the tournament time.
I don't see any white flags out here. That was a double screen trying to get Melissa Parker open on the left wing. Unfortunately, she got tangled up, lost the ball, and had a foul. But we don't see the subs coming in yet.
Coleman, 18 points tonight. Looking for 19. Kelly, I've said this so many times. You look at the 4 All-Staters out on this court tonight, the cream does rise to the top.
It certainly has. Oh, Parker felt that one.
NBA 3 by Parker, Coleman with the board, and I don't know whether that was an inadvertent whistle or not.
This is a frustrating time of the game for Melissa
Timeout
Parker.
on the floor. Coach Lee Turek wanted another timeout. No, I guess it's a foul.
No, it is a foul.
No timeout. 104 remaining here in tonight's ball game. 46-35. Started out real slow. Let's take a look. A lot of effort on this tournament tonight, and our co-player of tonight's ball game is none other than the young lady from Stevenson, Taja Catching. Great effort tonight. Double figure for her.
Well, Catchings had a typical game for her. And then Leslie Schock, 19 points, 9 rebounds, a typical game for her. Unfortunately for the Lady Maroons, just wasn't quite enough.
So that was our Mountain Dew player of tonight's ball game, brought to you by, of course, your local Pepsi bottler and Mountain Dew. Just do the do.
Well, so Katie Coleman's going to go to the line again down here. Normally an 80% free throw shooter. See what she can do at this end of the floor. Her players, her teammates telling her to lighten up, relax, and do what you can do. You shoot 80% from the line. That's one of the top free throw shooting percentages in the state.
Looking to get to an even 20 and maybe 21 from the line. Teammate Tasha Catchings, as you saw just a second ago, 22 points, and it rolls off the iron for Coleman. One more opportunity.
Well, one of the lower scoring AA games that we've had. Both these teams averaging well in the 60s and 70s usually. You can see defensively tonight, both teams really made a difference in each other's offensive output.
There we go. Parker goes inside, shot up, it won't roll for her, and ball out of bounds.
You see right there why Melissa Parker's a big-time player. Took it to the hoop against Taja Catchings. She'll be driving a lot against Taja next year as a teammate in practice.
Let's go to our colleague who's done a terrific job here today, Joe Passion.
Well, Mike, earlier we showed you a graphic talking about how this is the 4th time that the #1 ranked team in the state have taken on the #2 team in the state. And as we bring that graphic back up again, you'll see something that is very interesting. Every #1 team that you'll see here, every #1 team that has played a #2 has gone on to be the state champion. And it appears that will repeat itself for a 4th time right here.
29.3 seconds left to play. 20 points on the night for Coleman. Katie Coleman, 6-foot senior All-Stater, rolls it down inside the cylinder and back out. My bet she gets 21 before this ball game's over, huh?
Well, she's getting a lot of chances here. We're seeing some players come off the bench now. Coach Turks bringing in his substitutions, making sure that those players coming out of the game get a good handshake. They've sure deserved a hug from the coach. They had a great season.
Good look at Winkaitis and also her running mate, Susie Smith, getting a hug. They got nothing to be ashamed of, I tell you. They played hard. Both teams started out, as I was going to allude to earlier, started out slow. It was 9-8 at the turn. Then kicked it up in the second period, 24-22. Not a high-scoring contest, but this was a pretty doggone good ball game, even though the score may not reflect it right now. There's Katie Coleman, a double-double night for her, 20 points and 17 boards. I knew her board work was just simply outstanding.
She was big time on the defensive boards, just really controlled things down there. And I think as Leslie Schock was putting the ball out, now you see the big hand for Taja Catchings. She had a big night again tonight, but again, she always has a big night.
Our co-player of tonight's ball game getting a big hug from her coach, Frank Matucci. Hey, boy, I tell you what, he's got to be happy. Not too many guys make the trip back here and get back-to-back victories, that's for sure.
Well, Dick Beery did it in the Class A, and we've rarely seen that happen. Dorothy Gators always brings great teams down here from Marshall. Dennis Custer from T-Town, he's certainly been here more than once or twice. Frank Matucci's now got his name in the record book with back-to-back titles. So everybody's going to see a little action. Our congratulations to the earlier Class A champion, the Carlisle Indians. They made a repeat visit, lost last year, you know, in their title game against T-Town by 2, but put it all together here this year and won their first state championship. And Stevenson is a heartbeat away, 29.3 ticks and away from winning their back-to-back second in a row championship here in Illinois. Well, there might be 20 seconds left in the game, but this is the first 20 seconds that these kids have been on the floor, some of them at all. And this is an exciting opportunity, regardless of the score at this point, to get a chance to get your name in the scorebook for something out here on the Redbird Arena floor.
18 seconds, and this one's over.
You see Catchings and Coleman there in a big embrace. They're going to be headed for lots more excitement down the road. Big Ten opponents, one at Purdue, one at Illinois. They'll be seeing a lot of each other in the coming years.
Here we go, inbound trigger. Coming in, scramble for the basketball. This one's just like it was tied up for all the marbles. The shot, no, will not roll for Elgin. Boom, the collision, and up into the front court. Here comes Stevenson. Not gonna roll for them. Board comes down to Elgin. This one's over. Your 1996 2A state champions defending their title goes to the Patriots of Stevenson. They have defeated the Elgin Maroons at 50-35. A 15-point victory here in this championship ball game, but Kelly, this one is much closer than the score really reflects after a hard-fought 4 quarters of basketball.
You know, we talked in the recap the
Stevenson Ball Club, 33-1. The winners, Frank Matucci, in his 8th season, has amassed a 237-win record against only 35 losses, and they are excited.
Yeah,
let's go.
Right among the excitement, everyone's getting a little bit crazy. 22 points, a lot of them from the line there at the end. Cleaning up here, Elgin gave a great fight. What turned it around? What was able to let you guys get away in the 4th quarter?
Oh, we just played so hard. We wanted this so bad. You know, we just gave it our all. This is our last game of our lives in high school. So we just put it all out on the line. Elgin's a great team, and we really had to buckle down on defense and just go back to what got us here, and that's our full court pressure. And just to slow it down on offense and work the ball around and inside to Taja and everything, and it's just awesome.
Taja, co-scoring honors, 22 points. These two had 44 of the 50 points tonight for Stevenson. The 1-2, a great punch. Tough to get away from Elgin early. What broke it away in the second half?
I think it wasn't really tough to get away from it. It was just that our defense wasn't clicking. And so once it started clicking, they stopped scoring, and we kept on scoring the same. So, won it for us.
Frank, you said you weren't going to make any major adjustments, just trying to get the ball into these two, and it worked.
I think we had a 13-point second half. I mean, you win games on the boards, and on defense, we control the boards in the second half. And on defense, we were awesome. These two kids led us all the way. I'm going to miss them. I'm really kind of numb right now. I'm just so proud of them. 44, and I told you if we held Parker and Shaq between them to less than 35, we'd win, and we did. I think our experience in the second half showed when we had a lead, they started panicking and shooting from the perimeter. Kirsten came in, did a nice job for us on the boards. All the girls did today. It was a tremendous effort. Back to back. It's just, it hasn't hit me yet. It has not hit me. It has not hit me.
You said it would be the whole roster that would win, led by Katie and Taja. Congratulations on a great championship very quickly, back to back. Nice championship, nice memory to take with you, isn't it?
Oh, it's great to go out this way. You know, there's no other way at the end of the year than this. I mean, this was a perfect ending to a dream 4 years.
Congratulations, both of you. You got some hardware to go pick up. Congratulations, all of you. Stevenson, back-to-back Class A champions. When we come back, we'll see that hardware given out here at Redbird Arena to the Class AA. Second-time champion Stevenson High. The Lady Pats have more hardware, and we'll have more from Redbird Arena after these messages.
Let's take a look at our American Dairy play of tonight's ball game, brought to you by the Dairy Farm families of Illinois and Wisconsin. Got milk. Watch this board and coast-to-coast action by the All-Stater of Stevenson. Katie Coleman, the 6-foot senior, takes it to the hoop, lays it up and in. That was first quarter action here, and Kelly. But along with her running mates, we saw 4 outstanding talents. Katie Coleman, certainly one of them tonight.
Well, Coleman had a great final game here. She had struggled a little bit earlier, also some of the semifinal games, quarterfinal games. She really put it on the line tonight, had a terrific outing.
So a final here, Stevenson 50, Elgin 35, and the presentation of the medals and trophies. Let's go courtside now to Steve Adams, our PA announcer, and pick up some of the action.
Number 11, Julie Genoda. Number 15, Teresa Watson.
Stay with us. We'll be back to Redbird Arena and continue with the presentation of the trophies and medals. We'll be back right after these local messages. Once again, let's go to Steve Adams as we continue with the presentation of the second place awards here, going to Elgin, losing tonight here in the championship game 50-35.
And finally, number 25, Leslie Schock. Those are the Maroons of Elgin High School. And now presenting medallions to the squad members of the first place team will be Mr. Dennis Garber of Hoffman Estates High School in Hoffman Estates, who serves the IHSA as vice president of the board, and Ms. Linda Lane of Fenger High School in Chicago. At this time, let's meet the Patriots of Lincolnshire's Stevenson High School, who finished the season in first place with a final record of 34-1. First, meet the principal of Stevenson High School, Dr. Tim Berkey. Next, the athletic director, Pete Weber. The superintendent, Dr. Richard Dufour. The head coach of the Patriots, Frank Matucci. Assistant coach, Tom Kelly. Assistant coach, Trish Bethauser. Player manager, Katie Fitzgerald. And now let's meet the players at center court. First, number 24, Karen Fricke. Number 45, Madre Palicharla. Number 10, Amy Chanis. Number 33, Lindsay Sultan. Number 42, Kelly Kirsten. Number 30, Carolyn Roth. Number 34, Felice Rosenzweig. Number 11, Kim Carter. Number 32, Erin Bartelt. Number 25, Jennifer Warkins. Number 14, Christy Miller. Number 22, Trish DeClark. Number 20, Noelle Mendenwald. Number 23, Katie Coleman. And finally, number 12, Taja Catchings. Those are the Patriots of Stevenson High School of Lincolnshire. And now for the trophy presentations. Presenting the second place trophy will be Mr. Garber. Will the captains of Elgin High School and Coach Lee Turek please come forward to receive the second place trophy. And there it is, the presentation of the second place trophy in Class AA to Elgin High School. And now Mr. Garber will also present the championship trophy. Will the captains of Stevenson High School and Coach Frank Matucci please come forward to receive the state championship trophy. And there it is, the state champions from Stevenson High School in Lincolnshire. This year's AA champion once again. This announcement for Stevenson fans. Stevenson High School.
Mike Mitchell along with Kelly Hill for a final thought here in this championship ball game. And Kelly, I don't know that it gets any better than this. Stevenson wins another back-to-back championship, a great effort by the Maroons of Elgin. We talked about at the onset of our telecast today about 1977 when it all began, just a stone's throw away at Horton Fieldhouse. Oh boy, has basketball become big here in the state of Illinois in the girls' ranks. An attendance record set here this year. It gets bigger and better every year.
Well, there's no doubt there's been 20 years of tremendous growth here in the state of Illinois. You look at the people here in the stands, the fans, the quality of play, the quality of coaching. There's no doubt Illinois is the place to go on the move in girls' basketball.
There's our combined attendance record, 43,061 fans have attended here in this year's tournament, and that is an IHSA record. Kelly, it's been great. I've enjoyed every moment of it here on the IHSA Basketball Network, and it's been fun.
Look forward to seeing you again down here, Mike.
Sounds good. Let's join the third leg of our broadcast team, veteran broadcaster Joe Passion.
All right, the voice, Mike Mitchell and Kelly Hill, the queen of our broadcast booth. And one other note to add to the great 4 years that Stevenson High School has put together. Nine seniors have played with this group with Frank Matucci, and they have, in those 4 years, beside had state titles back-to-back this year and last. Also compiled the record behind Coach Frank Matucci of 137 wins and only 21 losses. 12 of those coming in a 14-12 season back in 1992. That's when he was reloading for this stretch run, which makes for quite a year for the 9 seniors that will be graduating. Now, next week, you'll want to join us in Peoria at the Civic Center, downtown Peoria, for the boys Class A basketball quarterfinals that will begin Friday morning, run through Friday night, and then, of course, we'll have the semifinals Saturday morning, consolation and championship of the boys Class A Saturday night. The following weekend, we begin again Thursday evening with the three-point shootout. the slam dunk preliminaries, as well as our Road to Peoria show. The quarterfinals on Friday, semis again Saturday morning, and then the night before St. Patty's Day takes over, it'll be the championship boys Class AA game from Peoria. Final score again from our girls Class AA championship here. The Stevenson Lady Pats of Lincolnshire win 50-35. So for Kelly Hill and Mike Mitchell, the rest of our talented crew here, Director Bob Albrecht and all the rest, I'm Joe Passion. We'll see you again here next week from the original March Madness of Illinois.